But how bold of Sundowns to throw Ronwen Williams right into the thick of things right at the start of the season. Now, a decision that somewhat took a lot of people by surprise, given that, when they looked at the performance of Dennis Onyango, had been the number one, goalkeeper for them for a pretty long time. But in comes Ronza, Bafana Bafana's number one, and is here to set a foot wrong. Hey, let's catch up with the man himself. He's here under the bridge in Katlehong for the very first time. Ronza, good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Marawa, for having me on your show.
How are you doing? You strong?
All good, all good.
Yeah?
Yep.
Settled. I said to you as I walked in, I'm like, hey, what are you doing wearing Sundowns colors? Because it's been your life, since the age of 12, being in and around SuperSport United. But that's gone now. You 100% switched on to this new challenge. What do you think was the biggest change, though, for you?
Obviously, leaving home.
Yeah.
I felt at home. I felt at ease. I was in a comfort zone. And, coming to a big club, with rich history, who want to win each and every trophy at stake, obviously I had to, change my mentality and adapt. And, there's, so far so good. The start has been good, has been positive, and, I feel at home already.
So when you talk about the comfort zone, a lot of people will always misinterpret that, because comfort is comfort. It means you're not challenging yourself sometimes a lot. Did you feel that you had reached a stage where you needed a bigger challenge?
Yeah, definitely. I was at a certain, I was playing at a certain level.
Yeah.
And, I set such high standards for myself, and at the time, at SuperSport, I didn't feel that I could, reach my full potential, and I knew that there was more, ability-wise,
Yeah,
and what I can achieve and what I can still do, and it was just for me, to unlock it. And I think the only way possible for me to unlock that was moving to a bigger team.
What do you think was holding it back, though? Because we also know SuperSport to win championships. If it's not a top 8, it's winning the league, as they did back to back with Gavin Hunt. So they've been there and thereabouts. Maybe not so much in terms of the African continent. But what do you think, or what would you attribute to, if you had to ever say maybe X and Y was holding you back from, reaching the ultimate for you?
When COVID hit the team very hard,
Yeah,
because obviously we didn't have a main sponsor as well. So they were honest with me and said, the direction of the club is different now. We won't be challenging the big teams. We don't have the budget for that. And we lost so many key players, in a short space of time, losing Dean Furman, Clayton Daniels, Morgan Gold. It's not easy to replace those guys. And, we replaced them with a lot of younger players. And obviously it was going to take time, and we need to give props to SuperSport for believing in these youngsters.
yeah.
Every season, over 5 players coming through from the academy, given opportunity. It's amazing, what the team is doing. But in saying that as well, I was at a certain level, where I wanted to challenge myself, where I wanted to unlock, more things. And, I had a chat with Mr. Stanley Matthews, and he agreed, and he knew my feelings, and, he was happy, for me to go out there and challenge myself.
Was it an uncomfortable conversation, though, or was it more a fatherly figure type of conversation? Because he would have seen so many players come and go. He would have made great business and players leaving, some even going to teams like Orlando Pirates, whether it was Katlehong Mashego or Teko Modise even before. Those players had been there and had cemented their place, but went on to bigger things. Were you comfortable in that, or did you feel somehow that he might not agree to whatever you were thinking?
No, the convo was smooth.
Yeah.
Myself and Mr. Stan for something bigger now for Ronwen. And, he didn't want to stand in my way. I'm like a son to him.
Sure.
I'm a son to the club. And obviously my situation was different to the rest of the players. I have such wonderful history with the club, and they didn't want to see me leave, but they didn't want to stand in my way as well. So, the only thing I can say to them is thank you, and for the amazing work and the support they've given me, throughout my career, throughout my life. They've turned a young boy, his dreams, into a possibility, and even for me to even achieve bigger things now. They allowed me to go when they didn't have to. So it just shows the type of people that they are. Amazing humans.
When you talk about other clubs that in the past had come forward and maybe made offers to you, were either Chiefs or Pirates one of those teams?
I never personally got anything from any other team. There were rumors here and there, but nothing concrete. The only club or people that I spoke to were people from Sundowns.
Yeah.
And that's happened in the past.
But I was going to say, but surely that wouldn't have just been something that happened now. It would have, I mean, how many years back would have, let's say, the first kind of conversation that have happened between you and Sundowns?
It happened, I think it was 2016, when we played Nigeria. I think it was Coach Stewart Baxter's first game at Bafana Bafana, and the fitness coach from Sundowns, KB, came to me and had a chat and he just asked me a simple question. He said, would you be interested in joining our team? Because Coach Pizzo likes what he sees.
Yes.
And obviously we spoke, and I said, it's, for them to contact the club and speak to Mr. Rob Moore, and, that's what they done. But at that time, SuperSport didn't want to let me go because we were challenging. We had a very good team. We were winning things as well. We were successful, so rightfully so. I couldn't. At that time, I didn't want to leave as well. My heart was solely at SuperSport because we were doing well and we were challenging, and we had such a amazing team.
So you stuck it out because, Stuart Baxter would be that person then, that was 2016. So a couple of years later, 2019, it's Africa Cup of Nations, it's Egypt, it's you having to go there. But you also have to compete because it's not just you walking into the fray as being, a number one Bafana goalkeeper. We'll talk about that after the news. As we just pretty much lay the foundation for that conversation after the news, the big move. We spoke to Rob Moore on the show when it happened. I think I've never heard Rob Moore so excited. I don't know what happened in that communication or that he was the happiest I've ever heard from him.
Oh, definitely. He was happy. For him to fly all the way from UK, for this deal. When he had his people here, shows how much it meant to him.
Yeah.
And, he's just very happy for me, for the loyalty that I've had to him, that I've had to SuperSport as well. And now he knew, because I've been pestering him the last few years, to leave
for a move,
For a move.
Yeah.
And, that the nice thing about him is honest.
Sure.
And he was realistic, and he said, Ronwen, the only teams and leagues that you can play in overseas is 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And he said financial-wise, it doesn't make sense. So that's the honesty that I love about him.
So you had wanted to push him for a move overseas?
Yes, especially after the AFCON.
I love that. So me, when it comes to 1, 2, 3, I don't know where those countries are. So after the news, I want you to tell me what those options were, what those countries were, what the 1, 2, 3 was all about. It's our exclusive sit down tonight, chatting to Ronwen Williams. If you want to be part of it, send us your WhatsApp voice notes. As we head to the news, though, at Rise FM Studios is Andy Lenkosi. As we move across to Evo My FM, Pilat Duma is standing by. It is top of the hour. Here's the news.
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Coach, I just want to say you are an amazing woman, and I just want to celebrate you. You've done an amazing job with the Banyana team, just making it through. You've done really well.
Thank you so much, Naledi. For a woman to succeed, there's a lot of other women that she needs to step on their shoulders, but we need each other. For me to be where I am, you also part of that journey, because in my first gig, you were there.
Oh yeah, at F&B.
I was scared. And the biggest thing he said to me was, Coach, you speak football, speak what you see. And from then, I've never looked back. You've changed so many lives, and mine has been you exude confidence.
Marawa Sports Worldwide, Monday to Friday weekdays. Good afternoon, Prarop and the rest of the shareholders. As a major shareholder of this show, I know you've told us that today you'll be hosting Ronwen Williams. Good afternoon to him too. My question for him is, we all know that Orlando Pirates was interested in him. Was there any official offer on that one? And if there was, what was the reason for him not joining the mighty Buccaneers, but instead opted to join Mamelodi Sundowns? If there was an offer on the table for him to join Orlando Pirates, what was the reason for him not to join Orlando Pirates, and what led to this decision of him joining Mamelodi Sundowns? What is it that it's there with Mamelodi Sundowns? Yeah, that's it, man. It's your major shareholder, Thabo Mbuyane from Nelspruit.
Wednesday nights, soccer nights, your nights.
It is exactly 7 minutes after the hour. Ronwen Williams is our guest here tonight on hashtag MSW. It is a Wednesday today, which means it is soccer night. Welcome to the show. Well, I know one thing, a lot of people have been sending us communication saying that they lost their freedom because they're listening to the show in various parts of the country and the world. I am made aware from the technical side that due to load shedding, that might have affected a number of some of the posts where the show would have come through. So do bear with them. They are trying to put that back up. But yeah, I do believe that everything's still hunky-dory on the Rise FM as well as Sowetan Live. So we'll keep the conversation going. You heard the question. I'll come back to my question, though, that I was going to ask Ronwen. But you heard the voice note. I mean, he seems to think that you had a direct offer that came through from Pirates. He seems to have a name of a club. Is that true?
No, there were always rumors.
Yeah.
You know, the rumor about Orlando Pirates has been there every season. So I never met anyone. I never spoke to anyone, from them. Maybe they contacted my people, but me personally. And I mean, like I said, I told Mr. Stanley Matthews a year ago that the only club in South Africa that I'm willing to go to is Mamelodi Sundowns.
Sure. But as a kid, though, was that still the case? A kid, 12 years old, you were already SuperSport United. But what was that ultimate dream for you?
Just to be in the national team.
Yeah.
Obviously to be number one, to be a captain at SuperSport, and I think I achieved all that. And obviously to play for my country and qualify us, for major tournaments. It's still there, still possible. So hopefully I can do that still.
What would you say has been the biggest obstacle for you in terms of your journey, in terms of realizing your goals, in terms of reaching where you wanted to reach? What has that been?
Obviously the position that I'm, it's very difficult, and you're going to get a lot of negative feedback, because any mistake, it's in the back of my net, so that's what I've learned to deal with, better, especially now playing for the national team where there's 50 plus million people watching and supporting, and I mean, once we lose, especially now being the captain, you get hammered, and it's just for me to continue going, get up the next day after defeat. Don't doubt myself, just continue working hard, continue going, and that's what I've learned, just to keep going. People always talk, not everyone will like me, and
sure.
It's fine, it's fine as long as I give my best all the time.
But isn't that a goalkeeping thing generally? Isn't that a goalkeeping thing, whether it's South Africa as well as the world? I'm sure Itubele Nkune was not the most popular. And then he puts in a little bit of effort, and then he is the savior again, who has to come back. It's an up and down relationship. But how does that sit with you? Because mentally it's got to have an effect.
No, yeah, definitely. But it depends, if you look into things like that and how it affects you.
Yeah.
I control what I can control, and that's my performance, that's my attitude, that's my work ethic, that's things that I can control. What people say about me, I can't, and I think I've done fairly well the last few years, especially for the national team, even though we didn't get the required results. But I think I've done what I could do, but I'm so hard on myself, and I always want to be better, and it's tough, it's tough, pleasing, our soccer loving fans, it's not easy. And what I've seen at Mamelodi Sundowns, they've been successful for so many years, but they're always looking for the next one, you know, so they don't even speak about what happened last year. They're looking out to add on to what they've got, and that's the mentality that I've got as well.
But is that a mentality that works well? I know you said that's the mentality that you have as well, but do you find it now that it's starting to test you so much more because of their history? You know, you guys haven't had the most brilliant of starts in Sundowns terms, and because of the kind of standards that Sundowns have set themselves on. So do you believe that being able to then face that criticism based on the history of Sundowns, even before you got there, is enough for you to carry you through? Is something that you can challenge yourself to say, well, I can contribute towards turning things around?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've learned so much over the last few years, especially at the national team, being captain, getting all the negativity, you know, and you must take it, you know, you mustn't let it push you down. It must just be motivation, you know, to keep going.
Yeah.
And, you know, like the technical team has said, you know, we are the reason, they are the reason why people are gonna, everyone wants to beat Sundowns because of the legacy of the trophies they won, of the team that they've become, you know, the last few years. So it's a challenge, you know, to uphold that each and every day. So any points drop, people are going to talk, you know, because they want to bring you down. They want to pull Sundowns down, and we shouldn't allow that to happen.
Everyone talks when they get to Sundowns about how the training ground is such an important part of making them who they are. You get into Klorkop, there's a certain mentality. There's Coach Rulani, there's Coach Steve, there's Coach Mangoba. Very, very great coaches individually, but here they are united. You know, obviously not leaving your department as well. So what I'm basically asking is, what is the biggest mind shift for you? What is the biggest thing that you saw as you walked in the first, let's say, 2 days of training that made you feel like, wow, okay, is this what we're on here for? What was that?
Just the mentality of how they do things, how serious they are. I mean, once you walk in there, we have a meeting each and every day, watching clips of ourselves, of, you know, the previous games, like this Champions League tonight. So tomorrow we'll be watching the goals and seeing patterns, and it's, you know, every day they want to be better and they want to give us more, you know, to become a better team. And it's amazing, you know, the work that they put in. I mean, the coaches, they don't sleep, as well as our analysts. You know, they can send you things in the middle of the night. You know, it just shows the passion that they've got for the club. And now you can see why, you know, they've been so successful, because they don't rest. You know, they're always looking what's next, what's there to improve on, what trends are out there that we can jump on. And it's, you know, you see that from day one.
But would you say the gap is big, though?
Yeah, I feel it is.
Yeah.
I feel it is. I mean, the way they do things is, you know, it's on a different level.
Yeah.
You know, it's something different to what I've experienced in my career, internationally as well as local, you know. So it's different, and I can see why now they are the champs.
I mean, would you feel that maybe for the first time in a long time, and obviously everybody is a professional player, but would you say maybe for the first time you kind of felt like, wow, this is what professional football is all about?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, each and every day they're serious. You know, you're there to do a job to be better than what you were yesterday. And they don't just say it, they demand it as well.
Yeah.
You know, and it comes from the top right down to the players, to the groundsmen, each and everyone. You know, you can see it. You know, they all have that pride. You know, when they have the badge on, you can see it. And they all take their work serious. You know, each and every person, you know, at Klorkop so serious, and you can see it, and it rubs off, you know, amongst the group.
But do you feel the sense of that competition, and what's the dynamic like? Because on any given day when Sundowns are playing, sure, we'll see the starting lineup, we'll see the guys that are sitting on the bench, and then invariably the camera will find the guys that are sitting in the grandstand. And when you see the guys in the grandstand, you're like, my goodness, you could actually have a starting lineup just with the guys there, not the guys on the bench, the guys that are just sitting, not in the match day squad for whatever the game is going to be. Does that then heighten the intensity, even at training, where you almost feel like you're playing a game, but you're still just going about training?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's tough, you know, but it's nice as well. You know, it pushes you to be focused each and every day. You can't come and have an off day. Because if you have an off day, it's someone else's chance, and now you're going to wait in line. And you don't want that. As much as we're a group, you know, you here as an individual, and you want to be part of the legacy of the club, you know, so you need to come every day with your A game, and otherwise you'll see yourself out, and you'll wait for a long time, you know, and it's tough. I mean, when we play 11 v 11, it's difficult.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's now you preparing for the team that you're up against, and I mean, you're preparing with such good players on the other side. It's difficult. They don't make it easy for us. So that's the level, you know, that the club is at as a whole. You know, they demand that, and it's wonderful. You know, it keeps you on your toes, and it brings the best out of you.
But honestly, if you had to confide in us, when you moved across to Sundowns, did you believe that maybe you would have to wait your turn? Did you believe that maybe you might be number 3? Or did you believe that the weight of who Ronwen Williams is as a consistent performer for SuperSport United, #1 goalkeeper for Bafana Bafana, that would speak for you when you got to Sundowns?
No, not at all. I had a brief chat with the goalkeeper coach, and I asked him what the plan is, and he said, you know, it's the #1 position is there for anyone. Whoever wants it should take it. So that's why I was a bit frustrated that the transfer took a bit longer, you know, because I wanted more time to, you know, to show my worth at training, you know, and obviously to gel with the players as well and see obviously the way they do things. But luckily for me, I came and hit the ground running because I knew most of the players, you know, be it from SuperSport or the national team. So it was, you know, there was no pressure. You know, they made things so easy and relaxed for me. I mean, the first day when I got to camp, all my clips were there already, and the way they want to build up and how they want to do things. So that's why 1.5 weeks later, playing against Cape Town City, you know, I knew the schemes and I knew how things were being done. Because like I said, the analysts, they don't sleep as well. They were sending me so much information, and it just makes things so much more easier for you.
So even before you got to your first match day under Sundowns colours, there was enough clips for them to send to you and say, look out for this.
Yep.
This is the build-up play that we want from the back. You know, whether it's the old term of super keeper or not, but this is how we want you to play. So that had already been done.
Yep, a long time. You know, when I came there, the coach, Wendell, our goalkeeper coach, said, just go and see the analyst. All your clips are there. So I was thinking it's maybe clips of myself. So no, it's the way they want to build up and how they want to do things. And it was amazing. You know, so I had to familiarize myself, you know, seeing how they done it. And once we got to training field, you know, it was easy for me. And that's why you can see in the games now, you know, I look like I've been part of the team for such a long time.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to ask about that. It's like it's been seamless the way you've been able to adapt. We're going to take a quick break. Lots happening on social media. And also we'll take some of your WhatsApp voice notes that are coming through. Ronwen Williams is our guest tonight. Mamelodi Sundowns goalkeeper, a man that's making strides. He still owes me the 3 that I said he'll talk to me about. I haven't forgotten, but he has sent through any question that you have. It's a Wednesday. It's Soccer Nights.
Good afternoon, Tarok, and good afternoon to all the shareholders of the MSW. Thank you for bringing in Ronwen Williams. Ronwen, I'm just gonna give you some few tips and advice. I'm not impressed with your performance lately at Mamelodi Sundowns. So far, you've been conceding goals, and the Mamelodi Sundowns that we know doesn't concede so many goals so early in the season. And take this advice and make sure that you use it. Mamelodi Sundowns is going to the CAF Champions League. Do you think if you concede so many goals, you will get the starting lineup going to the Champions League, while there's Dennis Onyango, who has won many accolades for Mamelodi Sundowns? I can't even mention the clean sheets that he has in the past 2 seasons or 3 seasons. So train hard, focus on a game. You'll be the best goalkeeper if you do so. Thank you, Taro.
All right, thank you so much indeed. I suppose you get a lot of that, and that's the beauty of the game of football, is opinions. Is it Ronwen Williams conceding, or is it, I mean, surely by the time the ball gets to your side, or the final third, it has had to go through 10 other human beings?
Yeah, definitely, but you know, that's the nature of the game. Like I said, the goalkeepers will always get blamed. But it's fine. It's part of the game. The nice thing, you know, we analyze all the goals we score, goals against.
Yeah.
So I know that, you know, I could have done better here and there, and we could have done better as a team as well, you know. So I hear what he says. Obviously, you know, we know Sundowns didn't concede a lot of goals last year, but, you know, it's a new season now, and it's a lot of new players. And
I was about to say, what role does that play? Because ultimately it's not just Ronwen who's new in the team makeup. So in one day you'll get people, you know, fascinating about Elende coming in, and they'll rave about him. And I saw again a couple of days ago, people say, Elende played a rubbish game. You know, so you get a whole mixed bag of.
That's how it is, you know. Like I said, it's difficult to please everyone, and that's the nature of, you know, being a professional player.
Yeah.
You know, people want consistent performance all the time, and it's not possible. You know, you'll have an off day here and there, and, you know, for a keeper to have an off day, you know, it's going to be in the back of your net. So you try by all means possible not to have that off day.
Yeah.
But I hear what he says, and we'll do better as a team.
I think the beautiful thing is in the end is he gives his advice, but also says that you'll be the best goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a write-off, which I would be worried about. But, you know, but thank you so much indeed for that.
And good evening to all the listeners of the show. I understand you got Ronwen Williams. Welcome to the show, Rowan. Such a very good goalkeeper, and I think he deserves to be a number one goalkeeper in any institution. But I am a bit concerned with how he got that position straight away from being signed, and the next game he was already in the goalposts, and from there on I think he has kept it. My question now, I know maybe it could be him, it could be the wrong person to answer on why and how he just went there to Sundowns and he just got the position. Is it due to competence, or there could have been an influence of somebody for him to just go there and grab the jersey? I know it could have been very, very difficult to take it from Onyango and many, considering how they done the previous season, the big show in Durban.
Big show, thank you so much indeed. I think you kind of touched on that before we went to the break. It's not just walking in. I don't think a club like Sundowns will just open a door and it all walks in. So if somebody like him who maybe didn't hear your explanation earlier on, you got a healthy, competitive relationship with Dennis Onyango, and I'm sure with Kennedy Mwini and anybody else that is part and parcel of Sundowns. How would you, in short, just describe your elevation and obviously holding on to that number one jersey?
Yeah, it's amazing, you know, and obviously it's massive,
Yeah.
you know, coming in, spending a few weeks, and then, you know, getting the nod ahead of such wonderful goalkeepers, wonderful human beings as well. And I mean, I've worked with Dennis, you know, when I was 16 years old,
Yeah.
and he's the
Back
same
in Super
person,
Sport, yeah.
you know, same person, still crazy as ever, and obviously with Riyadh as well at Supersport. So we all have a very good relationship, obviously.
And history.
And history, yes,
Yeah.
you know, and all of us want to play, you know, but, you know, in the beginning of the season, the technical team decided, you know, that they're going with me, and obviously I had to make sure that I grab it. You know, but in saying that, I mean, they've been pushing me, you know, to do even better, and they've been helping me, you know, because there's a certain way that Sundowns play, you know, and they help me, you know, from the bench, halftime, you know, even from the stands, you know, they helping, and that shows, you know, why they are so successful, you know, because before anything, they are great human beings, and, you know, I admire them for that.
So there's no bitterness, there's no, look at him, let him go sink or swim. It's a case of they collectively in the end at Sundowns.
Yeah, definitely. We're a special group,
Yeah.
you know, and we push each other each and every day. And I mean, they help me each and every day. You know, there's a lot of improvements that I need to make, you know, in my game, and they help me. You know, if they didn't care about me, they wouldn't have, you know, showed me these things that I can improve on. So it just shows. I mean, they've been in the game for such a long time, and, you know, they've achieved so much, you know, and I'm just, you know, trying to learn as much as I can from them, and hopefully their success and, you know, can rub off on me.
Talk about those improvements. What would you say right now? I know it's early days in the season. We're still trying to get to match day double figures. But from what are you experiencing, from what are you knowing, from the different approach to the game, what would you say is that part that you believe, whether within the club or whether you're training individually, that you would want to improve about your game right now?
Obviously, the team, we have a certain way of playing. We build up from the back. Yes, as much as I'm comfortable, there's so many schemes, build-up schemes that the team has got, and it needs for us to be fluent and for us to be good on the day. It starts at the back with me, with the build-up. And if the build-up is not as sweet as we would want, and then we'll have problems, And I think in our last game against Arrows, the last 20, 30 minutes when they started pressing us, it wasn't there. Gave away too many balls, especially in our half. So it's just to learn from them and to stay calm, And I mean, we've practiced, our schemes, and we know how we want to play. So it's just, to believe in it and get better, and not give the ball away so cheaply, because we work and put so much emphasis on our build-up.
And the goalkeepers, not that they were never an integral part, they've now become not just about defense, not just about keeping a clean sheet, but you're such a big part of how the build-up plays. You're such a big part of the direction, but also the accuracy. And we see it within international football. So when a Dutch coach goes to Man United, for example, and he starts questioning De Gea, and people say, but how do you question David? He's been the number one, he's been the best. But yeah, best for a certain style of play, but maybe not best for a Ten Hag who believes in, the total football that they play at Ajax. We saw Liverpool getting a tough time against Ajax. So that is a system that has stayed in place. So for you, how important is that to just be alert? Not like that used to happen before. Kick the ball, hope for the best, turn your back and walk to your goalpost.
Then I'll never play, if that was if that was the case. But like I said, I've always been comfortable with my feet, playing out from the back, good distribution. I mean, I come from a proper academy, from Supersport, Feyenoord Academy. So I've learned the basics well, but this is another level now. And the way they do things, this is highest level. And the build-up schemes we have, it's awesome, and it's amazing, the things that the technical team come up with. I mean, it looks good on the eye, when we get it right. So it's just, that emphasis on, just to minimize the mistakes, and once there's pressure, just to stay calm. Like whenever we do corrections, that's like, of the game that we play, it's Coach Rolani will always emphasize on, staying calm. Yeah. Even if they're pressing, you stay calm. And I mean, you can see it in my game now, and it's just bringing that calming influence, and it rubs off on the team.
Short into the season, you felt an improvement in terms of your overall game?
Yeah, definitely. The numbers are up there. They put up our numbers every day. The amount of passes you made, accurate passes.
So on release of the ball, yes, to one of your teammates. So what would you say? What percentage are you sitting on right now?
It varies from game to game, but...
Arrows game, for example?
First half was, I think it was 100%. Second half was, I think I gave away like 4 out of like 12. Yeah. So for me, it's to get that number down. Okay. And then you look at Chipa last week, where there was not so much pressure. Yeah. And I had a game of 100%. Not many people know that, but I had so many passes and it was 100% accuracy, so that's amazing. And the stats is there, they always have the stats, and that's the improvements that I need to make, is to keep that standard up there.
Because, I mean, that was a game where Sundowns almost had 80% of the ball possession. I mean, Shadulile scored at the last minute. It was really referee's optional time. But you were not bothered by much, because, I mean, they literally had 4 attempts at goal. There was only one that was on target, from a chipper perspective. But everything that you got, whether it was their attempts that went over, kick to the side, you got 100% for that, which is incredible for a 90-minute game.
Yeah, it is. And it's credit to the players, for making things so smooth for me. They were joking after the game. I should be doing extra after, I should be running because I didn't do anything in the game, so.
Holiday.
But it was all down to the players, the hard work that they put in, the honest, we've got a lot of honest players, and the technical team, always emphasize that, that you have such amazing football players who are willing to run. And that's amazing, and not many people see that from this team, but we run a lot and they work very hard.
I mean, when you then look at the paper or you go online, I don't think too many people read papers these days, and then you see that on the back of that result, a certain coach who sat right there where you're sitting, not so long ago, proud to be a coach of Chippa. Shadolina scores, last minute. Anything can happen, but they'd contain the game for them based on the players that they have. But boom, Dane Clayton's gone. As a football player and somebody who's been a superstar in Pretoria, for SuperSport United, for example, do you get a sense of feeling or emotion to say, no, man, how can something like that happen?
That's the nature of the game, but you feel for him. I mean, he's my own boy. I've learned so much from him. He played the game the right way, and he's coaching the game the right way as well. You could see the effort that they had last week. They didn't make it easy for us, and I mean, I think it's a bit too soon, but I don't have the right to speak about their team. I just feel for him, but like he said, now he's a coach, so now knowing him, he's gonna even double his efforts and get better.
I think in a nutshell, you win trophies. There's one star there, you probably want a second star, and you want to be part of that team that wins the second star.
Definitely.
Ultimately, though.
That's the aim. That's why I joined the
FIFA Club World Cup?
That's on the agenda as well. That's where the clubs, want to be at. They want to be in that space. And they set high standards, so we need to go out there and achieve it.
I mean, that's a landscape that we see with the Chelseas, the Bayern Munichs. I think the last time Thomas Tuchel was there, touchline, went on to do great things. But then, Chelsea winning Super Cup, winning, Champions League, etc. And you can't take that away. And even winning the Club World Cup as well is something that hopefully one day Sundowns does. And you would want to put your name down in that history, surely.
It's possible. I mean, anything and everything you put your mind, you can achieve. And I mean, the club as a whole, that's the direction that they're going now. They want to be there consistently, so meaning they want to win the Champions League consistently, being there. I mean, they're a big team, massive team in Africa, but it's now for them to add onto the star and show. I mean, you saw with the signings that they're making now, they mean business. So hopefully we can go out there and do the job on the field, because they've done the job for us offered.
It's actually scary how young you are still, after so many years. Hey? I mean, you look around and you look at your ideas, he's 30 years old, you're like, guys, it feels like I've been playing for 30 years, hey? But that's the beauty about consistency and being at the top. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back for our final 17 minutes with Ronwen Williams up until the top of the hour.
Good evening, Rob. It's the Boko here, Rob. For me, you don't get to play more than 300 games and play 100 consecutive games for a club and not be regarded as a legend. For me, Ronwen Williams has earned the legendary status, even though he's still playing the game. Rob, I just want to take him back to Telkom Knockout 2014, SuperSports versus Platinum Stars. The game, the score was 2-2 in the extra time. Eleazar Rogers stepped up to take a penalty. Ronwen Williams made two brilliant saves, Rob, to deny Platinum Stars that leading goal, and SuperSports went on to win the final 3-2, Rob. And I just want him to take us through what went through his emotions after he made that double save. And lastly, Rob, with some of the players that came from his hometown struggling with game time, with Reeve Foster struggling with an injury, Wade Joste not having a club, and Kemit Erasmus struggling with game time at Sundowns. I just want to ask Rowan, do you have conversation with the guys just to cheer them up, considering that they come from your hometown, and just to keep them motivated to working hard and not despair? Thank you so much, Rob. It's the Bohoye.
Tebogo, thank you so much indeed. Great questions that are coming through from your side. Maybe let's deal with the last part, where you find those players, no game time, feeling a bit despondent. What role do you believe you play?
Yeah, obviously I'm close to them.
Yeah.
Not all of them. I have a bond with, obviously a special bond with Kermit, because we've come a long way, and Reeve as well from the national team. Wade Joester, funny enough, you know, I played against Wade under 9 already.
Under 9?
Under 9. When I was at Shatterproof, he was playing for Swallows.
Jeez.
You know, but for some weird reason, we don't have, you know, a tight bond, because, you know, I was gone, you know, from PE for a long time, and he was different. But I'm happy to see that he's at Supersport now, you know, wonderful club, obviously. And, you know, obviously Reeve, you know, he's got an injury. I spoke to him when we played them, when we beat them, so just told him to keep going. You know, Kermit I see on a daily basis, and he's still the positive person that he,
He's always been,
Yep, always.
And going back to that Platinum Stars game, I mean, how much of that do you still remember? I mean, he throws back a couple of names, your Eliezer Rogers who came through, and it was a double save as far as penalties are concerned.
Yeah, I remember like it was yesterday. You know, that was amazing, man.
Yeah.
But I had to give credit to the video analyst of that game, because we studied so many penalties, and that was the time when, you know, doing video sessions wasn't popular.
Yeah.
You know, so they showed me so many clips, you know, of their penalties, because they had penalty shootouts against Pirates the previous year. So they showed me so many clips, and we studied them, and I knew which way it was going. And just to make the double save was amazing, you know. Cause
was it consistent though, from what you saw a year earlier when they played to what they showed you? They went the same direction.
Yeah, he went the same way. Obviously, I faced him, only him, and so yeah, he went the same way. And obviously, they cut a lot of clips. You know, they try and get maybe 5 of your last penalties, and you can see a pattern.
Okay.
You know, so yeah.
All right. So there's a science to this thing. It's not like playing the lotto.
Thank you, Robert. As you promised on Monday, now you are delivering. Thank you, Robert. You know, no, I'm the one who started this thing, because I saw that William is not in his best, and then the one who did this conversation on social media, they know, man, the guy need to pull up his socks, because if we can lose 2 games in 8, that means we lose 6 to 7 matches this season. So he need to pull up his socks and start to produce man of the match performance, because for the past 5 seasons we never lost 2 games in 10 matches. We never. And the way he consider goals, he consider some easy goal. If you see the goal he consider against Ekupune, should have done better. The goal he considered against the first goal against Supersport, you should have done better. So I think the guy needs to work, needs to pull up his socks, because still have the Mwenes, the Onyangos. If you remember last season, the Mwene winners the game in Champions League against the Al Ahly, the first leg. He produced the man of the best performance. So we love the guy, we don't hate the guy, but he needs to work. This is Sundowns, not Supersport. He needs to work extremely hard, because we are a winning team. We need to supposed to win every match. So the goalkeeper need to come to the party. We have the great players, and he is the great player, but he need to pull up his socks. He need to work. We love him, we support him, but we need to work extremely hard. We need to pull up his socks, because we want to win every trophy. Your performance right now, if you consider this performance, we never reach the knockout stages of Champions League, because you need to pull up your socks. By the way, we love you, we support you, but pull up your socks, bro. Please.
Jeez, these socks are going to be pulled up to your chest by now, eh? Oh, man. But you know what the beauty about this is? And I always say, you get it raw. It's fans. And he still says, you know, he loves you, he supports you. And that's all you really want to hear. I think it's when you've overachieved like Sundowns, it's a difficult thing. I think for every player, if Shalulila hasn't scored for 10 goals, he'll probably get the same banter coming through.
Yeah, I mean, it's part and parcel. Like I said, you know, the team, the players, they put themselves up there by the performances they had the last few years. So anyone coming in, you're going to be, you know, criticized, and you're going to be challenged to better what they done, you know. And, you know, that's a Sundowns mentality. You know, even the supporters have it, that they don't want to lose any games. They don't want to concede goals, and I'm fine with that. you know, and I will take his criticism and I'll go work harder, you know, and not concede goals. But people need to be realistic and know that you are playing against good players as well. You can't concede.
It's a tougher season.
Yes.
I see. I mean, from where I am, I'm just seeing so many teams improving. Who would have thought about Richards Bay being where they are? You know, Royal AM always keep knocking. You look at TS Galaxy. It's a different approach. They'll only be in relegation zone again this season, so they changing a couple of things. I just see a very, very competitive league, more difficult than I've ever seen a start.
No, definitely, it's tough.
Yeah.
Each and every game is tough, and you know, now that I'm at Sundowns, it's you know, everyone wants to beat Sundowns. It's you know, it's you know, they're the champs. Everyone wants to take even 1 point off us. It's for them. It's massive. So. It's where the club is, you know, it's the space that they're in, so, you know, you must take the criticism, you know, and just, you know, keep going.
You're a tough soldier, man, I have no doubt about that. You probably hear worse in the grandstand, so it's okay. I was going to say that the 3 countries that Rob Moore spoke about, that he said to you when you wanted to push for a move, he said you could only go to boom, boom, boom. Which ones are those?
We had a talk, and he said he's going to do a case study, you know, because, you know, players, you know, we think, we can go and play there, and there. So he said, look, he'll do a case study and he'll get back to me. And he came back, he says, obviously the MLS, you can go to any team. Belgium, he says, maybe mid-table going down, because up, you know, it's Champions League, it's going to be difficult. And then France, he said, but then it's mid-table going down. And he says, the financial package, it just doesn't make sense. You know, you 30 years old, you know, you're in that stage of your career. Do you wanna, you know, just go to tick the box, or, you know, you the national captain, you know, you don't know what can happen once you go that side. You know, you can lose your spot. All these, you know, we had a lot of discussions, and, you know, he threw it all on the table, and, you know, it was for me to decide with my family, and obviously his input. I mean, the guy has been how many years in the game, managing top players, so I believed him. You know, everyone believes they can play for the best teams in the world, but it's not possible.
So the reality sank in.
Yep.
You looked at the bigger picture. There's still AFCONs, there's still World Cup qualifiers post-Qatar to look into, and you're saying you're the captain. So the minute you start not playing, because these days we can tell whether a player's playing in Afghanistan or not.
Yep.
We'll be, why are they choosing him? Is it because of reputation?
Yeah.
So that is why it was important for Rob Moore to then negotiate a very good package for you at Sundowns that will make you even forget about wanting to go play in Belgium.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, you threw it all out there, and for me it made sense. You know, you work so hard throughout your career to play for your national team, and now you're not only playing, you're the captain as well. Do you want to jeopardize that, you know, just to tick a box, you know, and say, oh, I've played overseas, whereas you come to such a massive club who want to, you know, compete at the highest level, who want to see themselves at the Club World Cup, you know, so you want to be part of that space. You know, they don't think about only the local. They want to win CAF. They said the trophies they won last year is not enough. They need more. Yeah. They want more. So that's, you know, the challenge that I'm ready for, that I've signed up for, and that I was looking for.
Just as a final question, you know, from my side, is that I know from your side, I mean, very spiritual, very family orientated. Family means a lot to you. So with this big move, and I take you back to someone that means so much to you. If your late brother Marvin was still here, and you had made a move to Sundowns, what do you think he would be saying to Ronwen Williams right now?
Wherever he is, he's celebrating. He's looking down. He's so proud, you know, because he was the one who fought for me so many times, you know, traveled from P all the way to Joburg when things wasn't going my way, when I wanted to leave the academy. He was the one, you know, that, you know, always was there, you know, boasting about his little brother, and he was always there for me. And I think when he passed away, you know, I didn't want to play football for like, I just didn't care.
2 months or 2 years?
2 months that I didn't play, and, you know, our Coach Kwanele Kopo, who is now at Pretoria Calais, he just said, you know, whatever you do, do it for him. So that was the turnaround for me. And at that time, I was still playing at the academy we played Vodacom League. And I mean, 5 months later, I'm the first team goalkeeper, first choice. And for me, his passing pushed me to do even greater things. And whenever I'm playing, I know I've got him by my side, so there's always someone looking out for me, and I just want to make him proud. You know, that's because I know he's there. He's always looking down, and I mean, he told my father, he said, if Ronwen doesn't make it, then I failed him as a brother who wasn't there, you know, so I couldn't let him down, and I'm just happy, you know, that I'm making the family proud.
And to use an analogy of some sort is that, you know, being up in heaven amongst the stars, you're saying, you know what, let me throw 1 star to you. Add it onto your badge.
I'll take it, I'll grab it with both hands and just thank him.
I think the whole Sundowns family would love that. The whole Sundowns family would adore that. So, Ronwen Williams, as you know, always been a fan of you on and off the field. The gentleman that you are. The role model that you've become to many people. I mean, I wish you much success. And I think this journey as it begins, it has a lot of positive spin-offs. Never look back. And thank you so much, man, for spending time with us here on #MSW.
No, thanks so much, man. I can't thank you enough for having me on your show. Continue doing the great work that you're doing. You're a legend. You're a legend in South Africa, in Africa as a whole. And yeah, maybe after my playing career, I can be the next Robert Marawa.
Please come and join us. That would be beautiful, Ronwen. Trust me. I really would love that. Because I think your depth of knowledge, your intellect, your humility, it all speaks to that. So any day. So we can sharpen the tools any day. I think you deserve that spotlight.
Thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Sundowns goalkeeper, Ronwen Williams. Yeah, but thank you so much, Masandawana. Thank you for the love. Catch you tomorrow.